Hi everybody, my name is Chris Hansen, and today I'm here to discuss why it's just so damn difficult for YouTubers to not be predators. Hey sissies. So I want to start this video off with a huge thank you to all of you for the reception on my last video. It really means a lot to me that a lot of you understand what I'm going through, and your kind and supportive comments really just made this whole experience a lot more bearable. So thank you so much.
Sending a gigantic hug to all my fellow eczema warriors.
Can't even imagine how devastating that must have
We
been
miss
for
you, John Cena. I hope you're getting better. Wishing you health and wellness.
Must be the avocado toast.
Joanna is literally falling
Why
apart.
are doctors so dismissive of eczema problems? Julian Casablancas looks different here.
Water monkey.
My skull.
My mom can't wash the dishes because she has eczema.
Please answer this comment. I want stop.
You're so disgusting. Ew.
Well, you're ugly enough, so we believe
the
it.
humdrum detective concordingly paddle because quarter equally paint until
Boring. This shit looks fake as.
Who are you? Who the F are all these people on trending? Never heard of any of them.
Try reacting to K-pop, please.
She has already. Okay, thanks for telling me. Doctors are drug-pushing frauds, and eczema is caused by vaccines.
So it's been nearly 3 months since I posted my last video talking about how I'm going through topical steroid withdrawal. For those of you who need a refresher, topical steroid withdrawal is, as the name suggests, the withdrawal that occurs when you stop using topical steroid creams which were originally prescribed to you to treat eczema. Let's rewind to February of this year. So at this point, I was entering into month 5 of topical steroid withdrawal. So the worst really was yet to come. And oh boy, did the worst of it come knocking down my door at the beginning of February.
We were driving down Sunset. You know I love fast cars.
Vroom.
Passed by where we first met. Damn, we made it so far. Red eyes from the red light. And that just set the mood. You say you're obsessed with me. So I took a second. And I said me too. I'm obsessed with me as much as you. Say you die for me. I die for me too. And if I lost you, I'd still have me. I can't lose.
So for the entire month of February, really, I was bedbound. My skin was so tight and dry that I couldn't move my neck or my arms. I also started to lose my eyebrows. Why? I actually don't really know why. All I know is that the shaved head and no eyebrow combination kind of made me look a little bit like a certain pink Slender Man. Now, you may be wondering what somebody in my predicament. I feel so powerful when I'm this tall. Now, you may be wondering how somebody in my predicament spends their time. Well, let me enlighten you. You spend a lot of time listening to sad and depressing music. For instance, the Call Me By Your Name soundtrack. You know, that movie with Timmy, and Armie Hannibal. By far, the number one thing I did during this time period was watch a copious amount of Dance Moms. Listen, Dance Moms represents the bottom of the barrel of humanity. It's borderline child abuse, and you should never aspire to be like any of the adults on that TV show. That being said, it's the most addictive substance on this planet. And I can say that confidently because every time I try to detach myself from the ALDC cinematic universe, I just get roped back in so quickly. It's insane. Did you not just say that my daughter looks miserable, so maybe we should put Kalani in her place? No, I never said that. Yes, you most certainly did. No, I didn't, dingbat. Listen! Get your finger out of my face! Girls, out of the room! Girls, out of the room! Girls, out of the room! And go. Ooh, yes. Anyways, so, hey, eyes up here. Anyways, so about a month of this madness goes on, and I'm very much living life at like the most common denominator of everything, if that makes sense. I'm just going through the basic motions, but then another like 2 weeks of this went by, and I just got tired of living as a crusty, cantankerous 19-year-old. So I decided to force myself to just try to get back to living my life as normal as possible. So I started off by just going for a 30-minute walk every morning. This was difficult for 3 reasons. 1, I look like a lizard shedding its skin. 2, it hurts to move. And 3, I look really, really bad. So obviously, the solution was to go incognito. Imagine you go out for a walk in the middle of the night and you see this walking towards you. Okay, I'm good. 2 weeks into my little walking regiment, I started to realize something quite peculiar. The time of day that I spend walking, or moving my body in any manner really, is the only time of day that I spend not itching. And because itching is the number one thing holding me back in my whole healing process, you know, the more you itch, the more you rip into your skin, and the more lesions you create, this is really important. If there's anything that I can do to stop myself from itching, I'm gonna take it. And before I get a trillion comments from a trillion different people saying,
Why don't you just stop scratching your skin when it's itchy? Boy!
The itch. Speak of the devil. The itch of topical steroid withdrawal, or dermatitis of any kind, is a different specimen of itch. It is a bone-deep itch that does not say bye-bye until you've drawn blood. The pain of trying to resist the itch is excruciating. Telling somebody who suffers from dermatitis or topical steroid withdrawal to just stop itching is akin to telling a depressed person to just stop being sad. So at this point, it was made clear to me that if I really wanted to accelerate my healing, I absolutely could not sit still. Enemy number one of the state is sitting still. So I have to get moving. I have to get exercising. Now, when I say exercise, I mean walking. I mean stretching. I mean skipping rope. Nothing too rigorous, nothing too hard, because I still really can't move my body fully. It hurts to move. My skin is tight and dry. And 2, if I sweat, it's over for me. It's done. Throw in the towel. You know, I will literally scratch through my limbs. Okay. So starting in the beginning of March, I made sure that every waking moment was spent outside, in the cold or in the rain, you know, walking, making sure that I was just moving so that I didn't spend time itching. And guess what? It worked. I started to experience accelerated healing. Around the end of March, for once, I could actually extend my elbows. Like this movement, I haven't been able to do this in 3 months. So yeah, overall, I'm a lot better. There's still raw skin on about like 40% of my body, so I still have a very long way to go, but I've made a lot of improvement, and I'm slowly starting to get back into the swing of things, which is fantastic, of course. So that's a pretty good summary of everything that's been going on these past 3 months. But that's not the entire story. I got a lot of comments on my last video from people who are in a similar situation as I am, and they're just wondering what I'm doing with my diet. Now, I'd be a fool to not consider food a healing mechanism for topical steroid withdrawal. Because, and I'll touch on this later, everything you put in your body has a consequence. That's what she said. So for this next part, I would like for us to start in my bedroom, because everybody, I'd like to introduce to you all my kitchen. So the way that I'm eating right now to try to help my healing process requires that I be cooking pretty much 24/7. Whether it's in the slow cooker or in the stock pot, something's always going. Now, I could just use the kitchen downstairs, but I feel terrible taking over one more room in this house. Like, I already make such a mess with my shenanigans, and my mom is already always cleaning up after me. So I just bit the bullet, you know? And I was like, okay, might as well just build my own kitchen for the time being. So let's go through everything I have here, shall we? Number 1, eggs. This is a pink thermos. I used it never, and I bought it because it was pink. Somebody somewhere told me that chamomile tea really helps them with their dermatitis. So I tried it, but it tasted rank, and I never was able to drink it again, but I should probably get back on this. That's my magic bullet. I got 2 salts, raw honey, olive oil, raw apple cider vinegar, and then we go down to my countertop made of wood. This is my hot plate. This is a pan. What's cooking? Oh, nothing. It's a dirty pot. I should probably get that out of here. This is a casserole dish. I have learned how to make a serious chicken casserole. You throw chicken in there, some water and salt, you know, and I've been known to eat the entire thing in one sitting. Stapler, because a kitchen is never complete without a stapler. This is my stock pot food processor. Okay, down to the basement. What are you doing? get down here with me. No kitchen ever is complete without a fridge. I got quite a couple things in here. First of all, I've got cultured cream. This is cream that I am culturing. And this is the kefir that I'm using to culture my cream. This is meat stock that I made in here. I burned it. Don't ask me how you burn water. It just happened. Cod liver oil is a time-honored tradition. It's extremely nutritious and good for you, but it also tastes like fish perfume. Up here is where my sauerkraut sleeps. I've got 3 batches going on. The first one, I added too much salt to it. The second batch back there, I didn't add enough water to it. So, needless to say, it's a little bit moldy on top. And that's it. That's pretty much my kitchen. It's amazing. Every day I wake up and I get to play kitchen in my bedroom. I love it. So, what exactly have I changed with my diet? Well, I think we all vastly underestimate the effect that food has on our health. And when I'm talking about health, I'm not talking about weight gain. I'm talking more about your biomarkers, so things like sleep, digestion, mood, energy, sex drive. Back in August, I decided to do an elimination diet, which is pretty much just cutting out everything that could possibly be inflammatory and eating only a couple of foods for a set amount of time to kind of establish a baseline of health. I was originally not going to talk about this on here because, and I said this once, but it's worth reiterating, diet YouTube is no man's land. You open your mouth about what you yourself are putting into your mouth, and you get this in response. Obviously, it goes without saying that everything I'm about to tell you is very specific to me, and it actually won't work for you. So if you're interested in doing this, I highly recommend that you do your own research, read a bunch of books, read studies, do everything you can to educate yourself on this topic. I'm just somebody with crusty ass skin that wanted to try to fix her problems by herself. That being said, the first thing that I cut out of my diet was anything that was rather inflammatory. Anything high in salicylates, oxalates, histamines, sugar, including fruits, gluten, grains, and I think that's pretty much it. Foods that I try to consume a lot of at the moment include meat stock, which is just fancy hot dog water, sauerkraut, and boiled meat. So it's a pretty good diet, if I must say so myself. Now, I don't want to sit here and seem like a god of self-control. It's not easy to stick to this regimen at all. No, it's terrible. It's hard. Do I feel great when I stick to these foods? Of course. Do I feel like my skin improves a lot when I stick to these foods? Yes. But sometimes, okay, I just want lasagna and an ice cream sandwich. Is that too much to ask? The other day, we went to Whole Foods, and we rarely go to Whole Foods because everything's just like stupidly overpriced. But Loblaws had run out of organic broccoli, so I decided, okay, you know what, we might as well just go and see what they have. We found this designer pasta. Actually, no, I have to show you this. Guys, this is literally designer pasta. The packaging, it's all in Italian. I went through half of this bag in one day. I saw it and I was like, you know what, screw the diet, I'm trying this, I don't care. It was overpriced, you know, but it was worth it. Oh, you know what else is like ridiculously good at Whole Foods? Their almond butter. The thing that's really insane about this is like, it's sweet, but they don't put any sugar in it. So like, how is that even a thing? Ingredients, organic European almonds, made in Paris, Ontario. Wait. No. Wait, what? So I have to make a distinction right now that I did a very poor job of making in my last video. Topical steroid withdrawal, the thing that I'm going through right now, is not eczema. Those are two very separate things. Topical steroid withdrawal is a withdrawal from a drug that you were prescribed to treat your eczema. Eczema, on the other hand, is an autoimmune disorder. Now, there are thousands of theories out there as to what exactly causes eczema. Nobody really knows. You know, you ask Google, she'll say that it's your diet. You ask Reddit, oh, she'll say that it's the sun. Amy from around the block is gonna tell you that it's the soap, while James Charles is gonna blame it on desperation. But by and large, most of the scientific literature that I did read All of them have a general consensus that 9 times out of 10, eczema is caused by poor gut health. This is also the reason why eczema and other kinds of dermatitis can never fully be cured using only topical treatments, because you're only treating the symptom. You aren't treating the root cause of the issue. And this is especially true for topical steroid withdrawal, because using a drug to get rid of your addiction to another drug is kind of counterintuitive, and I don't have to explain why that is. You need to use lotion or moisturizer because your eczema is caused by dry skin. Wrong. Try again. -10 points. You failed my class. So, despite what I've just said, sometimes you're in so much pain that you do have to rely on topical treatments to at least just get temporary relief. Now, we all tend to forget that your skin is also an organ, so anything that you put on your skin will be absorbed into your system. If you can't eat it, why would you put it on your skin? What usually works for me is either coconut oil or beef tallow. To give you a good idea of how dry my skin is, I can slather handfuls of coconut oil on my skin and not get pimples. I mean, that's kind of a really cool superpower. I don't know about you. Okay, so it's time to address the elephant in the room. Literally. I was originally not going to address this because I didn't think people would notice, but I'm stupid. I read the comment section a lot, and people did notice. My face is very swollen. I look different. I'm aware of that. And part of it is because of the swelling that happens when you go through topical steroid withdrawal. But it also has to do with the fact that I've put on about 20 pounds in the past 3 months. Me before topical steroid withdrawal. Me after topical steroid withdrawal. It's actually incredibly common to gain weight during topical steroid withdrawal, especially because when you come off of steroids, your cortisol levels shoot up through the roof since they were suppressed for so long. And, you know, what happens when your cortisol levels shoot through the roof? And it also just doesn't help that I haven't exercised in about 5 months, so you know, your girl is a little bit thick, to say the least. I know I'm, like, taking the piss out of all of this at the moment. It's not fun to gain weight, obviously. Like, I hate walking and having my thighs rubbed together. At the moment, I'd rather focus on healing my autoimmune issues first, and then I'll tackle the weight loss. I'll start to give it, you know, 2 calories of my attention. So, you know, if you were here to comment that I'm fat, actually, go ahead, because you'd be right. So, the last thing I wanted to discuss here with you all was my glasses. And even though everything I've already shared with you is kind of insane, this next part has been the biggest shock for me by far. Now, if you're new here, I have myopia. I've pretty much always had it. I got my first pair of glasses in grade 2. My prescription, up until 3 months ago, was a -4.75. So I was blind, you know. I'm talking things get blurry about here. Now, back in January, the skin on my face and behind my ears was so raw from itching that it hurt to wear my glasses. So I just thought, okay, I'll take them off for the time being, and when I've healed enough, I'll just put them back on. Now, I've always been curious to see what would happen if I just took off my glasses. And I've never really had the opportunity to do so because I've always had things to do, places to be, and people to talk to. But, you know, as the circumstances may be, I was stuck at home because of the big bad virus, and also because I was healing from topical steroid withdrawal. So I thought, winner, winner, chicken dinner. This is the best opportunity that I could possibly have to be blind and see what happens. So I took my glasses off on January 14th, 2021. And for the first couple of days, it was pretty bad. You know, everything was blurry. I couldn't see anything. But soon enough, I got used to the blurriness, and I started to not mind it. Anyways, so 2 weeks ago, you know, I noticed that I had healed enough where I was capable of wearing my glasses again. So I put them back on, and I was completely discombobulated. My eyesight had improved by nearly a diopter and a half in 3 months from simply not wearing my glasses. Now, every eye doctor that you go to will tell you that this is impossible, it can't happen, and I'm insane for even proposing it. But I maintain that my vision is very clear now compared to what it was 3 months ago, and I'm 90% sure that it's just because I took off my glasses. I just want to make it very clear that this is still a work in progress, and I'm not saying that I'm never going to wear glasses again. But for the time being, you know, I don't mind seeing where this will lead me, and I have a hard time believing that it's just a coincidence that my eyesight improved when I took off my glasses. But anyways, I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist for
proposing that you could just take off your glasses and your eyesight will improve, so I'm gonna shut my mouth now.
So if I had to summarize this absolute odyssey of a video in a couple of words, it's that I'm fat, sick, and blind. No, but seriously, I've just aired out all of my dirty laundry on the internet for millions of you to see, and I'm thankful that you all care this much and have stuck around for so long, ever since I ghosted you back in September. So once again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. I've reached a point in my healing journey where I think I'm healthy enough to start filming videos again, so I'm gonna try to keep on posting regularly from now on. You know, eczema is an unstoppable force, but I am an immovable object. Call an ambulance, but not for me. Tell me you have eczema without actually telling me you have eczema. When I itch, it snows. Thank you so much once again. I'll see you guys next week, hopefully, and I love you so much. Toodles!